Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. In this video I want to talk about the Walking Dead Telltale game series and an idea for something they could do for the future. Now, before this video starts, I just want to let you know this video does contain massive spoilers for Telltale's The Walking Dead series. So if you have not played the games, do not watch this video. Okay, with that said, I'm about to begin. I'll give you a couple seconds to leave. Okay, so as we know, with games, content gets cut. It happens all the time in games. Now, if you look at YouTube channels like In Cold Blood, which, you know, talks about Walking Dead games and their cut content, you will know that Telltale's The Walking Dead has a ton of cut content, and a lot of it's really interesting and stuff that would have actually, I don't know, like it really could have benefited the games having these scenes in. And if you have not watched the channel I'm on about, look up the channel In Cold Blood. This guy talks about pretty much anything there is that was like cut from The Walking Dead, the main games, you know, like season 1, 2, 3, 4. I think he's talked about Michonne, he's talked about 400 Days, and even someone like me that, you know, knows a lot about what, you know, like stuff that's been cut and stuff, even someone that knows a lot will still be surprised by some of the stuff this guy digs up. Like, he finds out some really interesting stuff. So his channel is definitely worth a watch, especially if you are interested in this game and the series of games. Now, just recently he did a video on season 3, and from that I wanted to do this video. Now, for years I've known that The Walking Dead season 3, also known as A New Frontier, originally had a flashback in it that would have shown the early days of the apocalypse through Clementine's point of view, and we would have seen her right around the time the apocalypse began and when her babysitter Sandra died. Now, that is a scene I was always upset was cut from season 3. I was hoping season 4 would bring that scene back. Unfortunately, they didn't do that. But then I was thinking, here's an idea for something they could do. Now, have you guys ever heard of Machinima? Well, they're like a YouTube channel that has done videos kind of like movies using games. You know, like back in the day they did tons of Grand Theft Auto 4 movies that were really interesting. And they have done, you know, like tons of movies. If you remember Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, which of course was released all the way back in 2004, back when that game came out, there was like a 20-minute short movie called San Andreas The Introduction, which was kind of like a prologue to the game itself, setting a lot of the game's story elements in motion. And yeah, I think it would be fucking cool if Telltale's The Walking Dead did something like this. Now, it would be tricky for Telltale to do, like the writers at the Telltale, you know, like the Still Not Bitten team and Skybound. It would be kind of tricky because of multiple choice. Now, I know a lot of people say choice really doesn't matter, but at the end of the day, there is still many things that, you know, could really screw around with the fan base in a way where it's like, well, my choice didn't fucking matter, did it? Like, basically, if you came out and said, canonically, Lee cut off his arm, well, then the people that left his arm on, like, that means their choices didn't matter. The thing is with Telltale's The Walking Dead is everything you do is canon. It's just pick your canon. Now, there are certain scenes they could kind of like do movies about. that doesn't screw around with the choices people have made. And for an example I'm going to use is the scene that was cut from season 3. Now, if you own Telltale's the definitive edition of the Telltale games, that game comes with concept art, and in season 3 section of concept art you can see artwork for Clem's house, and even artwork for Sandra, which of course is her babysitter. Now, obviously this is from the scene that was cut. But here's an idea. Let's say from all the like cut animations they did, because the scene, like if you look at the files of the game, there's tons of cut animations and stuff like that relating to that scene. Like that scene seemed like it was pretty decently far into, you know, being made, and it really sucks that it was taken out pretty much at last minute from what it sounds like. But anyway, what I have an idea for is this. Over the next few years, because I doubt we're getting any more Telltale styled Walking Dead games, at least for a while. I do think eventually there will be more, just not following Clementine. But I think this could be a good way to do like little short 20-minute movies, and you know, kind of like what Machinima did, do like 20-minute movies that maybe add to the universe, make them canon, and kind of flesh out the world. And the first one they could do is that cutscene with Clem and her babysitter. Now we could start off with the scene from the trailer. If you remember season 2 of The Walking Dead, the episode 5 trailer had a exclusive scene of Clementine from before the apocalypse, where she's talking to her mom. And you could have the movie start right there. It shows that scene, and then we see what happens next. We see Clementine and Sandra hanging around, you know. We see Sandra taking care of Clementine, and you know, it can also be a good way to flesh out Sandra's character. So when you go back and replay season 1 and you see Sandra as a walker, it could make that scene more sad, because you know what this character went through. Now, from the animations, it showed stuff like Sandra and Clementine playing hide and seek, and it seemed like Sandra was, you know, she was a very nice person. Like even Clementine, I think in season 2, when she was talking to Jane, she talked about how her babysitter Sandra, she looked at her as like a big sister. And so what we could see is, from what the animations show, it shows like we have Sandra and Clementine playing, then all of a sudden there's scratches at the door. Now we could, maybe Sandra is just like, oh, I wonder who's at the door. Maybe it's a neighbor asking for something. She looks through the peephole, maybe she sees, oh, this person kind of looks sick. Maybe they need help, you know. Maybe I should get them a glass of water or something, help them. She opens the door, Walker attacks her, bites her, and then we see Clementine, she's horrified by this. Like, think of it like this. This is not experienced Clem. This is like before she even meets Lee Clem. So she's horrified by this. She sees someone she cares about so much just getting bitten right in front of her. She screams, and maybe the walker, you know, shows attention towards Clementine. So the walker's coming for Clementine, grabs onto Clementine. Clementine's trying to kick it away, and in Sandra's last, you know, some of the last things Sandra ever does before she dies, she pulls the walker away from Clementine. Clementine maybe gets up, grabs the walkie, runs outside, pushes the sliding door, closes it, looks back, sees Sandra. Sandra puts her hand up against the window, basically like, stay safe, Clementine. And the walker just starts devouring her. And as Clementine runs up to the treehouse, she just starts like crying. She's like trying to talk to her mom and dad on the walkie. She's just like, please come home, please come home. And we just see, like, we just show inside the house, there's like, and some of this is taken from In Cold Bloods. He did a edit of what that scene could have actually looked like. And in that scene, he showed Clementine in her treehouse crying. And seriously, check out his video, it's very good. And it shows, like, inside the house we hear the message from the first episode. The one, like, you have one new message. And it's like, you hear Clementine's mom, hey Sandra, this is Diana, we're still in Savannah. We hear all that, but in the background we hear Sandra just getting torn apart and her like screaming for help. And after a while of hearing that, the sounds begin to become more muffled, and we just start hearing police sirens and gunshots in the background. And then all of a sudden it just cuts to black, and like, that's it. That's the scene. Something like that, it doesn't fuck with the choices people made, because this is something that takes place at a point where, you haven't made choices. It doesn't really, affect anyone's playthrough, and it adds more to Clementine and Sandra's relationship, and it even adds more to Sandra as a character. It fleshes her out a bit more, showing that she was a really good person, even in her last moments, instead of, sitting there and dying, she tried protecting Clementine. That could make Sandra a way better character for that. And I just think it would be really cool if Skybound and the Still Not Bitten team do this, and if they could even get the voice actors back to record scenes like this, because these could be amazing. Like, you could release this as like a, I don't know, like, you release it on YouTube first, maybe you release it on Skybound's YouTube channel, and then once they make like a few of them, they can release them on DVD or something for people to buy, Blu-ray, maybe even when the game, because like chances are they'll probably re-release the game on PlayStation 5 and the next Xbox, so maybe they might do like a updated version again, and it could even include those short films on it. And I just think all of that would be fascinating. Like, that's just one example of a story they could do. There's quite a few things they could do, and I just think all of it would be awesome. Now, if you guys have any thoughts on that, please let me know. If you think Skybound should excuse me, I had a burp right there. But if you think Skybound should hear this, maybe let them know. Now, don't spam them with this video, but I just think this would be a really cool idea for something for Skybound to do. I mean, like, think of it like this: in 2 years' time, it's going to be the 10-year anniversary of Telltale's The Walking Dead. Maybe they could work on something like this over the next while, and maybe release this for the 10-year anniversary as like some kind of celebration. I think all of that would be really neat, and I hope this is done. I really hope they do something like this, because there's so much potential, and it keeps this series around. Even though there's not a new game coming out, you're still adding to the lore, and I just think all of it's great. Anyway, so I'm not going to go on too much longer. That's just one idea. So yeah, maybe use the Telltale tool, create these scenes. Maybe some of these files are still around, so maybe it might not take as much work as it would if you had to build this all from the ground up, but maybe you can use some of these unused files, put this on YouTube. Because when I was looking in the comments for In Cold Blood's video, there was a few people in there saying like, oh, I would pay to watch this scene. Like, there is a demand for scenes like this to still be shown. Skybound and the Still Not Bitten team can take full advantage of this and make some really fantastic scenes out of this. And again, as long as it doesn't screw around with choices people have made, like that story I just mentioned there, there's really no harm in doing it. I don't really see what the harm in doing it would be, especially if it gets the voice actors back. Like, we could hear Melissa Hutchison again, we could hear Dave Fennoy again, Gavin Hammond. We could get so many scenes. Like, how about a scene that takes place during the 3-month time skip between episode 1 and 2? How about a scene that shows Clementine when she was with Omid and Krista? How about a scene showing what the fuck happened to Krista's baby? I mean, it's hinted at that the baby died because of what Clementine says in episode 5, but like, maybe we could get a scene like this. There is quite a few things you could do. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I don't want this going on too long. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye, and if you have any ideas, let me know for other stories they can do. I would love to hear them. And if you think this is a good idea, please, like the video if you want, subscribe if you want, because I release Walking Dead content all the time. I talk about the show, the comics, the movies when the movies do come out, the games, just everything Walking Dead related. I will talk about it. Again, you don't have to subscribe, you don't have to like. If you could just check out these videos, much appreciated, and I'll talk to you again soon. Anyway guys, goodbye, peace out.